Hello and welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoons, the weekly podcast that revisits, reviews, and ridicules some of the world's weirdest animated series. Coming to you from a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I'll be your host, Dave Trumbore. And joining me as always, my co-host. You hear him giggling. That's Darth Paul Ellis.
Yes.
How's it going, Darth?
David. I'm doing well. How about yourself, buddy?
I'm doing real good that you're not putting that force choke on me anymore.
Oh, no. Do you want me to?
Autoerotic force choke.
I want to get very close to the mic and just start doing like a lot of like...
Just sounds like you're sniffing stuff.
Yeah, I know. It just sounds like seasonal allergies right now.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's
why you wear that mask. You're a rebreather.
Zyrtec, you're the best.
You're the best. Oh, and hey, guess what? We have a very special guest with us tonight. The one, the only. It's the leader of the Max Rebo band. It's Max Rebo himself. How are you, Max?
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm good. Good. It's my Emperor.
You may or may
if we're
not
gonna do
know,
Vader, I'm doing Emperor.
You're gonna do any character you want in here, Rebo. This is
or
your
Max Rebo. I don't know what he sounds like. He's got kind of an elephant trunk. I don't really know.
Yeah, he does all his expressions through the keyboard, really.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Artistic expressions.
Just very sensual musician.
very gets way into it, I think.
Just gets really oof.
Literally surrounds himself with those piano keys.
Yeah. Hips ablazing.
Yeah.
Oh boy. As you may or may not know, here on Earth, Mr. Rebo actually goes by the name of Max Nicholson and moonlights as a writer for both IGN and MTV News when he's not playing at the cantina.
Yes.
So we'd like to welcome Max to the show.
Thank you guys for having me.
Welcome.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm excited.
To talk. Do you know what we're gonna do tonight?
Yeah.
I don't. So you're a step ahead of me.
No, I don't know if people there's a wide variety of Star Wars cartoons. I think that they have gathered that from the intro, but there's one in particular that we're discussing tonight, which was recommended by Max. So we have him to thank or to hate.
Let's not play it so fast and loose with the word recommend. It's more like I suggested that we watch this thing. Not necessarily saying it's good, but
the word Star Wars Droids were bandied about.
Yes, it's real. It's a real thing that you guys indeed watch.
And to prove that it's real, Sean's actually going to take us through the history of this show right now.
Absolutely. Star Wars Droids, The Adventure of R2-D2 and C-3PO, also known as Star Wars Animated Adventures, Droids, is an animated television series from, now I'm going to definitely get this wrong,
you got it.
Nelvana?
It's not Nirvana, so you got it. Well done.
Nelvana's
the one with that bear.
Films,
Remember the bear symbol?
Is that what it is? Nelvana,
I think it's the
is
bear
that the bear?
And the star. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nelvana and Lucasfilms that featured the exploits of R2-D2 and C-3PO, the droids who appeared in all 6 live-action Star Wars films. Droids ran for 1 season, shocker, and 13 episodes, and it ran from September of 1985 to June of 1986.
Yeah, so real quick, did you guys ever watch this? I don't know if it was in syndication or if this was something they pulled right off the airwaves in 86.
So this was something that I had, like, you know how there are those cartoons from the 80s that you had, like, the one VHS that had, like, 2 episodes on it? I had one of those for this show. And the episode that we watched, actually, is from this VHS that I used to own. So I just kind of wanted to take a trip down old memory lane. Not necessarily good memories, but...
No, they're still memories, though. They're still in there.
I do recall, though, watching these.
Do you remember watching the video? Did they have any, like, commercials? Because they always had commercials for toys on the stuff that we've watched before, like Dino Riders or old Transformers.
Yeah, like in the VHS, because at the same time, or maybe, like, slightly before or after, they also had a show called Ewoks, which was, like, a very similar show, which was, like, a sister show. So they would, like, plug that at the start, and they'd be like, hey, you like this? You should definitely check out this other one that's about the same quality.
If you love Ewoks and Return of the Jedi, boy, are you going to like this show.
If you liked Caravan of Courage, boy, have we got a show for you.
Oh, God, I love that.
Caravan of Courage is actually, that's a movie. That's a Star Wars movie.
Caravan of Courage was fantastic.
Yeah,
there was a second one, wasn't there?
There was, and I think that one was, like, not as coolly titled. It was, like, just like the Ewok Adventure or something like that.
Right.
I don't think it had, like, a fancy of the or like that.
Caravan of Courage. I'll have to go back and look for that one because I do not even recall that. I have no clue what that is.
You may have a hard time. I think they actually came out on DVD, but not I don't think it was ever like
Yeah, I know.
online or
This
anything.
one. This series came out on DVD in 2004. That's when they had the name change to try to fit it on the packaging because the original one was like 50 words long.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I think to this day they don't have like the entire collection because I think even that DVD they released is like a compilation of episodes or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're
just
hard
like
to find.
a volume.
Yeah. I think
Well,
Lucasfilm wants us to forget about them.
Well, we're waiting for Lucas to release his special edition of Star Wars Droids.
Yes. Exactly.
That's how it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got to
He's got to make some changes.
He's gonna make some changes, guys.
Yeah.
What changes would you want in this show?
Well, we'll probably talk about it as we.
Because I mean,
Yeah,
I'm willing to throw out
All
I'm willing to throw out a couple changes that I'd like right now, which would just be subtitles.
Really, you want subtitles?
Yes, there was
For all these ridiculous names in here.
No, yeah, that's what my problem was. There were moments where I began to create names for people because of how either gargled the voice actor was.
Yeah.
That's true.
Or I had to plug in an additional speaker into my computer in order to hear it very loud, and I replayed one of the episodes multiple times, and I still didn't understand what some of the names were.
It's like, how am I supposed to look this up on Wikipedia?
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even know what they're saying.
Yeah,
I had to look up man, I mean, maybe it's all these episodes, but this one in particular, like everybody's got a crazy name. Some people have multiple names.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Some of them they have like pseudonyms and stuff. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's like
Too much.
What do we do? And then they're making up names for the different stuff, like the ore that's in that. Wow, we'll get into it.
Yeah,
but I had to,
yeah.
I like phonetically spelled stuff out, and then had to do searches for
Me
it.
too.
And I got like some random like site in Thailand, and then I got some like other random stuff.
Oh, really? Random site in Thailand.
Yeah. Well, I spent a lot of time there, so let's just leave it at that. A lot of time in those Thai mines.
So if you, Dave, had to sum up this series, can you hit me with it
in like 3 to 4 sentences?
Can you hit me baby one more time with it?
Oh no, don't bring that into.
Yeah, can you Britney Spears?
Can we bring that? You guys should bring that into every episode, I think.
I wouldn't even know where to begin with that.
Thank you, Max.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think that should be a thing.
Max is so supportive on the show. We're not used to it. So would you like a series synopsis, Sean?
I'd love one.
All right, let's do it. So Droids was set in the 19-year time period between the rise of the Empire in Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and the events of Episode 4, A New Hope, otherwise known as Star Wars. So the famous droid duo faced off against gangsters, criminals, pirates, Boba Fett, IG-88, and the Galactic Empire, with other threats throughout the series, including the Emperor, who was actually mentioned quite a few times, but never actually showed up. So go figure that the Emperor of everything is not going to show up to deal with these two little tin cans.
I was hoping for an episode where they would literally be owned by the Emperor for like a couple episodes.
That would have been amazing.
Like just
and then you just force
like
lightning the shit out of
droids.
him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like we're out of here. We can't do
droids?
it. Yeah, we're going to the rebellion. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks. We've had enough of this Empire stuff. Yeah.
That was
you got a really good health
trip,
plan, but
we're done.
No, we're done with those corporate shenanigans. And then basically, like Max just mentioned, during their adventures, the droids always kind of swapped masters. Like they were always on the lookout for new masters. They never just kind of had their own adventures. They were always in search of somebody to give them a job or give them some sort of purpose in life. So that was a little strange.
That really kind of freaked me out.
Well, I mean, it's kind of what they're programmed for, I suppose. But that sort of sets up not sets up since it came 2 years after Return of the Jedi came out. But it paints a picture of these droids, at least C-3PO, as being one who is programmed to seek out a master and then to perform whatever tasks are necessary for him to please his master. And
C-3PO voiced by Anthony Daniels, by the way. I don't know if we mentioned that or not.
Yeah,
but that's actually pretty rad that they got him back to actually do the voice and stuff. Like,
yeah, it's really cool.
Say what you will about the show, but that's cool, right?
Do you think that Kenny Baker was like, crap, I wish droid had a voice?
He sat in the corner during the recording sessions.
He was just pushing the buttons on the Casio.
Yeah, exactly.
The best part is that during the intro for this, it goes R2-D2 as himself. I was like,
he got SAG credit for that
is
one.
That?
Yeah. He's a card-carrying member of the Screen Actors Guild.
I feel like they could have just like hit any keyboard or smashed any like tin can or trash can like in a recording studio and just been like, yeah, it's R2. What do you want?
I actually thought that was pretty good. I thought the sound effects were pretty good for the main characters.
Well, and they did get they got Ben Burt, who was the sound designer on on Star Wars, right? They got him to actually come in and do. I think he actually had like creative input on the show. That's what I think it said, like producer or whatever on that intro sequence.
Yeah,
but that's pretty.
It seems like they definitely had a lot of people that were. It wasn't just the story. This wasn't just like a port over from the movies.
Right.
Like, hey, people love these characters in the movies, so let's just slap some shit together and put a story around them.
Right.
I'm actually surprised that it was only 13 episodes in one season. That they didn't have more money and power and budget behind it. I was kind of surprised by it because I didn't think this was all that bad, to be honest.
Yeah, especially when you look at stuff like when you hear about George Lucas talking about the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Like those early interviews when that show first started, and he was like, "Yeah, man, fuck it, we're doing like 100 episodes, and you can like air them or not, but we're gonna make them."
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
you think I don't know, maybe that's something he like woke up after Droids and was like, "What have I done? Why didn't I do more Droids?" It's like I have to do another show. We're gonna do 100. Fuck it, we don't care.
Yeah, and that was great. I love the fact that he was just like, I just want to get the story out there, and if people like it, awesome. If not, then oh well.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But obviously, Droids not quite as lucky.
Yeah, so like we were talking about the sound effects and stuff from R2-D2, Max, like you mentioned, that they actually brought people on that were involved with the production in the movies to actually come in and do this show. So the fact that Lucas was, I mean, I'm assuming he was kind of behind these. He wanted to do these stories. The fact that we had people actually involved in the production gives this show a little bit more, I don't want to call it gravitas by any stretch of the imagination, but it gives it a little more credibility, I think, you know?
Right,
it gives it something. It wasn't just a straight ripoff, like a lot of other shows that we watch kind of are.
No, yeah, and like for the time too, that animation is actually not just absolutely horrendous, right? Like the environments or stuff are kind of just like, oh, is this Tatooine? Just like more Tatooine, but like the creativity maybe could have used a bump, but because I do remember distinctly like older episodes also were like weirdly on desert planets. Like they don't really do any other like tropical planets or like ice planets or anything like that. It's mostly just a lot of those types of like weird barren kind of environments.
Yeah, they just had like a surplus of the color sand.
Yeah,
just like guys,
and like nothing else to draw.
Yeah,
they're like, we have a lot of red and yellow here, guys. We can use this.
And then 3PO has
one
like weird,
stick of burnt sienna.
Yeah,
he has weird blue like internal organs. He has like he's got a blue neck and he's got like a blue midriff.
Right.
Which I thought was a little strange.
Yeah,
and
like
I guess it's to help him stand out. Yeah.
And he had like emotive eyes that could blink and stuff for some reason.
Yeah. Which is a little odd.
Like,
his design was a little strange.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is the way that they're framed, like because C-3PO is so much taller than R2, like most of the time R2 is not even on screen. He's just beeping around somewhere else and you hear him, but you can't see him.
And he just kind of pop up somewhere else in the episode.
Yeah. Yeah, or they just lower the camera so that all you see is like everybody else's knees, and then R2 just kind of rolls in. It was a strange, whoever actually was like, I don't know, animation supervisor or something on that. I don't know if this was their first go round or what, but it was a little odd to watch at times. But it was fun. I think it was still fun.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Sean, do you want to get into the theme song here before we get into the actual episode that we watched for tonight's discussion?
Should we get into this theme song?
I know you want to, buddy.
Because I'm going to. Well, of course I want to.
Yeah.
But I think, Dave, I'm going to speak for you and myself in saying that this theme song is pretty forgettable.
Yeah.
The history and the story behind some of it is fascinating, but the theme song itself, it was definitely not something that burrowed its way into my head. Where walking around the house for the last couple of days, like I'm just randomly singing it. In fact, I actually had to listen to it before we began recording to remind myself what the actual theme song was.
And I already
because I totally forgot.
Blasphemy, you guys. It's blasphemy.
You remember this one? Do you remember
sorry,
this from
Max.
when you were a kid?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, okay. So if I'm being honest, I did. But as I rewatched the video, I was like, oh, yeah, trouble again, right?
So it came back.
Yeah, that part gets in your head.
That's it.
Maybe
that was
like,
the only.
Maybe
that was the only part.
Those two words are like. That's if I may, that's iconic. I think to Star Wars lore. The trouble
again. That's
going
to be the title of your autobiography.
Yeah, in trouble again. Yes.
In trouble again.
A Max Nicholson story.
Well, it was amazing. So it was.
Yeah, go ahead,
is
John.
this going to be something where Max? Are you going to have like a colon after Trouble Again, the Max Nicholson story, where there's like 40 other words, like the title of this show.
Yeah, and it's like the cover is me standing next to like the two animated like cardboard cutouts of C-3PO and R2-D2, but like the animated versions.
Perfect.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'd watch that card. I'd watch that card too.
Oh, right
I'd
on.
read that
Hands
book.
down.
Okay.
I'd read that.
I'll make it happen. It's got to happen now.
Nice.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Trouble Again was performed by Stuart Copeland of, if you're like, Stuart Copeland? Like, of the Police? Yeah, it's 100% the guy from the Police. And it was written by Copeland and Derek Holt.
Like, I love that they needed two people to write this.
Just
like, the one person probably could have worked it out. Copeland, buddy, you probably had this.
Yeah,
You're wrong.
it's like I've got trouble. I need something after that. I don't know.
Something. We need like more trouble.
Almost as if it's a repetitive nature to the trouble.
Yeah, like it keeps happening over and over. What's the word?
Don't know.
Repetition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trouble repetition.
Yeah.
There we go.
Trouble repeated times.
But it was like, I don't know, for me it wasn't super memorable. Now it's probably because I didn't watch it as a kid. Like Max mentioned, he had the VHS, so he, you probably wore that.
I know, and you guys are right. It's a terrible theme song, if we're being honest. So all kidding aside, it's just the fucking worst. It's terrible.
I love the idea that Max is just trolling us on this entire thing. He's like, guys, I don't understand why you don't love this. This is my ringtone.
Yeah.
If we're being honest, I fucking hate it.
All kidding. We're done. It's awful. It's horrible.
And it's straight 1985 too. Like if you hadn't been listening to it or knew like live when it was happening, like this is just straight out of 1985.
Yeah, exactly. It is a product of the time.
Yes.
The whole show.
The biggest question that I have, Max, I want to pose this question to you after watching the theme song and having the history with it.
Yes.
Are R2-D2 and C-3PO, are they just magnets for blaster fire?
well, obviously not, because all the stormtroopers miss. So
correct.
Yes.
That's kind of a paradox, I think you're asking of me here. So I don't know, but yes, they do draw out the blasters for sure.
Definitely.
They get shocked an awful lot too.
Yeah.
They get zapped a lot.
There is an enormous amount of firepower in this theme song that seems to be just going directly over the head of both of these droids nonstop, to the point where you're just like, oh no, these droids are gonna. No, they're fine. They're always fine.
They're fine.
They're
Star
like
Wars
the universe.
It's like those animators had that running loop of those two characters. Are like, we got to keep using this. It's like it's like we have this like this really stellar running loop of these characters running. We got to use this like more often. What can we do? Oh, we'll fire more blasters at them. It'll be
Do you think it was almost like they had like an overlaying cell that was the animation of the blaster, and they were like, look guys, we've got cell animation. It's coming from the bottom right to the top left. Let's just put it on everything.
Yeah.
And you're like,
you guys, this looks really good. It's like I'm really particularly proud of this blaster shot. We got to use this like all the time.
That was probably a Lucas mandate. That had to be straight from Lucas. This is a great blaster shot. Just use it again and again.
I love the fact that we are picking apart the blasters in the theme song and not the fact that it was written and performed by a guy in the fucking Police.
Maybe he was a fan of the movies.
One of like the more notable and influential bands during that time, and he was like, you know what, I gotta take
droids.
5.
Or he like took a cue from the old Bon Jovi Christmas album. That's a deep cut for you Star Wars fans out there. But if you guys remember that, it was like the Bon Jovi like special featured track.
Man, unless it played on like the holiday special, I got.
Oh really? It's what is it? Christmas in the Stars. Look it up.
Yeah,
Christmas in the
so
Stars.
Amazing.
It's awesome.
You've never heard of this?
We'll see if we can get that to be our outro.
It also has
the rights to it.
Yeah, it also has Anthony Daniels like just kind of talking throughout the songs for some reason. They're like, we have Anthony Daniels here still. It's like let's use him. Let's put him in here.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's awesome. You should listen to it. There's literally a song called like, what do you get a Wookiee for Christmas? Because you can't get him a comb.
Oh no.
Because he already has one. That's actually a song in that soundtrack, I think.
Guys, the 80s were the best.
Yeah.
90s are pretty good.
I'm gonna agree.
90s are decent.
90s are decent.
90s are decent.
90s were fine.
Yeah. But the 80s.
That explains a lot
80s,
about
wow.
the show, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oof.
explains quite a bit. Sean, anything else on that theme song? I think that Max, like, man, reaching way back, pulling out.
I'm telling you, man, deep cuts all night. Let's go.
That's crazy.
That is good. Jesus.
So let's get into this actual episode then. I want to know what Max knows about the Lost Prince.
Yeah, let's deep cut into this. Let's go.
Yeah. Just to give you guys a bit of a rundown for what the Lost Prince was actually about. So we've got R2 and 3PO. They basically have lost their jobs at a diner where they are terrible, terrible waiters. And they end up as part of a droid auction. So they're up on the auction block pretty quickly. Nobody seems to have a problem with that.
We have skipped over a lot of stuff.
a lot of juicy tidbits.
This is just the brief, 10,000 foot view. This is just the overview.
The old log line.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I want to say ultimately, Dave, it felt like there were about 4 concurrent plot lines that were going at the same time in
it's all
this
pretty close.
episode.
And that's the thing. It was actually somewhat involved. Like, you had to pay attention to what was going on to figure it out for the most part.
Right. And they introduce characters that like won't be like returning until like later episodes and stuff.
We need to talk about Jessica Mead.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Jessica Mead, man, is fucking awesome.
Oh, is she? Okay, so that's cool. So you remember more.
I do. I remember. Yeah, in the next episode.
Really?
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's just in this series. She's not like. I couldn't find anything on her outside of this series though.
Right. No. I don't think she's like in the comics or anything like that.
Oh,
I
okay.
think she's
So it is strictly just for this.
She is a droids alum.
That's
only.
Crazy. So again, another deep cut. We'll definitely talk about her in a second, even though we don't know too much. Max knows more. But.
Right.
Yeah. So basically, these guys lose their job. They end up on an auction block, and they get sold to the son of a mine owner, and then another sort of droid gets sold with them, and that leads them into a whole mess of trouble. And that's where we will start our discussion. So
that is like 1,000-foot view looking down at this point.
And that's the show. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. So I love Max. Did you ever watch what happened in the previous episode? I didn't get a chance to see what happened before this to cause them to be looking for a job at a diner on a sand
So
planet.
like I don't remember. I just kind of read the brief like synopsis of previous episodes, and I think they like had just come off a stint with like these 3 other like doofuses who like pick up the droids and like, but then I think they get separated and like crash land on this planet that they're currently on. And
it seems like that happens pretty much every episode. Like they just kind of move from one master to the next.
Yeah, seemingly. Like I think it is like they have about 3 or 4 episode arcs where basically they have a new master and they kind of get into shenanigans with like a different like what's like your story? What are you doing? Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of like that's just sort of the general overview. Like I assume if the show had gone on, like if maybe there was like a favorite master or something, they would have maybe kept one around or something. But it's like.
Well, I definitely want to talk about this guy because he has definite similarities to Luke. But before we get into that, let's start back at the diner. Yeah. What do you have, Sean?
Well, do you think that was there ever an episode where they just were thinking to themselves like, we should just file for unemployment? We should just file for unemployment and sit back and see if we can coast this one out, guys.
I don't know that the
droid unemployment exists. It doesn't. You're telling me in this entire universe where the police will lead you into an episode that they don't have droid fucking unemployment.
I wish there was a droid planet where all the like rebellious droids just kind of ended up, or just like a giant scrap.
Just kind of.
As far as I know, there might be.
There's a scrap planet. I think that's a level in Shadow of the Empire, actually.
Is that the one where it's like the giant trash compactor where you have to fight?
Boba Fett, or maybe it was IG. It was one of those bounty hunters. Yeah. I think there is.
I saw, and they name dropped him in this episode, and I was like, oh, are we gonna see IG-88?
Yeah.
No. Didn't see him. I was disappointed.
I think that's next episode stuff. He is in the show though. I do remember seeing IG-88. I will say though, like, did any of you guys? So at the very beginning when they are at that diner.
Yeah.
That like diner owner looks almost exactly like Dexter Jetser, right? From like episode 2. The four-armed like orange alien. I was like,
and
they
had so many of these characters with like random or different names that I didn't pick up in the movies, but they had a lot of people that looked very, very similar.
Yeah, like,
and I'm assuming that was planned. Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like there was some definite like prequel setup going on with that diner owner there.
Yeah. So for everybody else who has not seen this show, it's like this giant kind of. It's exactly what you would expect from a greasy spoon chef.
Yeah.
Wearing sort of like the paper hat, except just copy pasted in the Star Wars universe. So he's got 4 arms, and they're all beefy and muscular. and he's got slightly gravelly voice. Now, Dave had mentioned that R2-D2 and C-3PO were doing a pretty shit job with customer service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As
They did look cute in
as
their little
waiters.
aprons, though.
It was adorable.
Yeah, I
It
like
was
the apron.
adorable.
And who knew
So-
C-3PO could cook? Seems to be
I
kind of a
didn't- I had
chef,
no idea.
right?
Apparently, yeah.
No.
Who knew?
So I was curious. At one point, the cook leans down to them and he goes, "I'm gonna melt ya," and I could not figure out what he said. I rewinded about a dozen times and I wrote down what I thought he said, but I don't. I think he said, he was like, "I'm gonna melt you down," and then I wrote, "and testy tubes." Like it never made sense to me what he actually was saying.
Let's go with testy
this was
tubes.
a
Yeah,
reoccurring.
I like testy
I'm gonna go with
tubes.
testy
Testy
tubes.
tubes,
Yeah.
This was a reoccurring theme, if we haven't said this before in this episode, was that there were moments of dialogue, of voiceover work, either in naming other characters or just in somebody adding like a tag at the end of a sentence that just got garbled for me. And so there were those moments where somebody would say something and then I'd have to pause it and it would just kind of take me out of the experience
Yeah.
for a second.
Well,
I had to
well,
go
there was
back
like
and
that.
listen to it.
There was like that Chewbacca knockoff character.
Yeah.
That I was like, is your name Yorpa? Is it Yorbo? Yorbo? Like
Is it Yorbo?
yeah, it was
Yeah,
like I feel
I-
like they said it like 3 different ways, and I eventually settled on Yorpo. I think.
I took Yorpo.
Yeah.
That's what I ended. YORPO.
Exactly,
And I think
that's
on
what I-
IMDb
Yeah.
it was either Yorpo or Yorpa.
Right.
But yeah, everybody had a different way of pronouncing things, and we have names like Jan Tosh, Kleb Zelik,
Kezi Bon.
Yorpo,
Yeah.
Kezi Bon,
Manjul-
Jessica
Manjulpa.
Mead,
Jan was
Manjulpa.
Jantosh. He was the Manjulpa.
Manjulpa.
was Jantosh? Was he the white guy?
Yeah. He was the
Who looked
generic
like-
white guy with the headband, like the
Yeah.
way too deep V-neck. Yeah, that was.
He was the guy who looked
That's
like
the style at
Swan
this
from
point.
the movie The Warriors.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I just called him Swan. I was like, Swan's doing all right.
Swan's okay.
Swan Tosh.
Don't give a shit.
Uncle Gundy.
Uncle Gundy.
Uncle Gut.
Uncle
He was
Gundy.
the only name that when they said it, I was like, got it,
Yeah.
nailed it.
Gundy.
Somebody
Moving on.
Gundy.
finally.
Got it. Yes.
Thank you, Diction.
I just called him Yosemite Sam.
By the way,
That's
fun fact.
100% what he was.
Fun fact. That dude got an action figure made of him. Uncle
What?
Gundy.
Shut up.
He was in that one episode for like what, 5 minutes
Yeah.
total,
Yeah, and
maybe.
he hopped
if we're being
around for all of it.
if we're being generous. And that dude has a fucking action figure made after him.
I really
Did
hope
he-
it came
was
with a
his-
leg that he couldn't straighten, so that he was just hopping
Yeah.
on one leg
Yeah.
the entire time.
It came with a boot that just came on and
Just
off of
a
his
boot.
foot.
and like
That's
a crusher, like a collapsible hat accessory.
it. Yeah, exactly. It came with like an old timey panhandler.
Yeah.
Like you could
Realistic
run it
mustache.
underwater and sort out the gold.
Yeah.
Oh boy!
Jesus.
So that's just to prime listeners out there on some of these names. We're going to be throwing around a lot of weird names. So just get ready.
Yeah.
Hold on to your butt.
And I'm just gonna refer to everybody by what I thought they were. So
That's fine.
Yeah, go for it.
Sorry in advance.
Yep. No apologies
I'm not
necessary.
sorry, dog.
That's
I'm
it's,
not-
it's
I'm
kind
not
of
sorry
true.
at
It's
all.
kind of true to Star
give-
Wars
don't
form,
give
I
shits.
think, right?
Yes.
Like
definitely.
characters having just the most random ass names that you're like, oh, I'm never gonna be able to like pronounce this. Your name has
No,
like 3
remember it,
apostrophes in it. It's too much.
Well,
So
and then he was like,
We
he's
should
like,
we should mention that the
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
go
go
on,
ahead.
Dave.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say that like this restaurant that they're working in
Dunix
has,
Cafe,
like,
by
this-
the way.
this-
Dunix Cafe.
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you. And so it has like this boss guy who like owns a piece of everything in the town.
He's
as you
like the
come to
local
find out.
gangster.
Yeah.
And he looks like a cross between Mad Max Fury Road's Immort Joe.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
and
good, yeah.
Cyclops from the X-Men had a child. And that was
He
I
kind
was
of
just
looks like he looks
what
like
the f-
Krang's
I-
big robot body too.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, there you
Exactly.
go.
It's like Krang's robot body. Yeah.
So like Krang's body. What
Yeah.
was his name? Was it Kleb?
His name is Kleb
Kleb.
Zelik.
Yes.
Kleb.
Kleb. I did
Zelik.
not get Kleb until the very end of the episode. Oof.
I kept
Wow.
that was the other thing is like once they said their name once, it was like they never said their name again.
No,
And I was like,
never.
oh wait, I didn't catch that. Except for like Yorpa, because they pronounced it like fucking 5 different
Constantly.
ways. Yeah.
They said his name so many times, but they said it differently.
Yeah, but I
every
was
fucking
like,
time.
what's that fat guy's name with the visor again? Right.
And then he would just
Kleb,
yell
got
and
it,
throw
okay.
R2-D2 across the room.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna call him
That never
Krang's
got old.
body.
Yeah, who had like inexplicable like sonic like explosion power or like mind fuck powers. I don't
Well,
even know.
that was Kleb, right? Didn't Kleb have like crazy Sonic?
Yeah,
Kleb
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, Kleb had Sonic mouth. Yorpa had Wookiee strength.
like that kind of like Aquaman like thing that like
yeah, I was waiting for little like O's to come out of his mouth, so I knew where the fuck I was coming from. Because at first I was like, is this like a security thing? Is it an R2-D2 thing?
Yeah.
No, it was just Kleb. It was just Krang.
Just good old Kleb just doing his thing.
This Sonic blasting. So yeah, he's like the local gangster. He's kind of got his fingers in all the different pies here, and he is looking for a particular character who we will eventually be introduced to. But there's basically a bounty on this character. And he is trying to collect it. He's also got, like Sean said, he's got like 3 other things in mind that he wants. He not only wants some money.
He's got a lot of plates up in the air at the moment.
Yeah, spinning quite a bit here, man. So I don't think it was really much of a. I don't know. When R2-D2 and C-3PO lose their jobs, it was just kind of a quick thing to get him out the door and to get him onto this auction block.
Right.
Did you guys think that was a little strange at all? How quickly that happened? I thought that was a little odd.
Yeah, that we
like,
didn't.
Well, we can't work at this diner. Might as well get auctioned off.
It's like you feel like you're setting yourself up for like, oh, a whole episode of them like working at this wacky diner, and then it's just like, oh no, it's like that scene. That scene was literally there just to introduce Kleb. I feel it's like, okay, we're meeting this guy, and that's it, and now we can fire the droids.
Exactly.
It's like
the thing that struck me is so weird was just the dependency, because C-3PO has a line that I wrote down because it was so troubling to me. Now I get it. They're robots and they're programmed to serve, and they're being auctioned off on like this like slaver's block.
Yeah.
And it's weird. But C-3PO has this line where he just goes, "We can't function without a master." And I almost wanted to just pause at that point, and there was like a robot tear that kind of came down.
Just an oil tear.
I wanted to. There was like a moment where I was like, please tell me that the follow-up to this series, to Star Wars Droids, The Adventures of R2-D2 and C-3PO, was titled Star Wars Strong and Independent Droids on Their Own Accord because they're fantastic and we love them. Like I wanted them to have like a shred of dignity. I wanted them to have like a shred of self-respect, because they're such staples of the Star Wars universe. And for them to just feel insignificant and worthless through and through, just it felt weird. It just
Look, and they're not only staples of the Star Wars universe. These are like the most consistent characters you'll find, and I'm assuming they will be throughout the next 3 movies or 6 that come out. So
to be fair,
interesting that
to be fair too, it's like those characters are kind of masochists in the movie anyway. Like they kind of rag on themselves all the time. Like that, even in the show, they like recycled so many of like C-3PO's classic lines, like "We're doomed, we're doomed," and it's just like,
and he's always getting like taken apart and like patched back together wrong. And he's always got his parts hanging out and his legs getting hacked off.
That leg bit, by the way, that was a winner. That leg bit was a winner. I love that bit.
Oh, it's a gift that just keeps on.
Yeah, it did. It really did. For
the. If you are thinking, is there going to be a classic caper where C-3PO takes off his leg for like a fake kick and it saves the day, you're in for it.
You're in the right. You're in the ballpark.
So we're up on the auction block. Everybody's feeling sad about it. But we're up on the auction block. And out there in the audience there, waiting to auction people, is one really terrible looking guy who I did not catch his name, but he obviously is pretty anti-droid because he just sees him as
Swan from the
Mr. One Nostril.
Mr. One Nostril.
Yeah, that's
Uninostril.
One Nostril.
And he basically so he goes up and he goes to buy these droids. So he goes to buy C-3PO, R2-D2 for like pennies on the dollar or whatever the Keshel.
Keshels, yes, exactly.
At this point, the Keshel. Pennies on the Keshel. And he goes to buy these 2 droids, and they throw like this kind of dilapidated, weird-ass looking, broken down droid in too. And they were like, this is the real worker, and then you've got these 2 other novelty guys here, so you can buy them. So Mr. One Nostril buys them. He basically just jerks the android-looking fella out of the way. Like, you just bought this thing, and he's obviously falling apart, and you're just going to basically like try to break him in the front of everybody. So this other kid, what'd you say? It was Juan from...
Swan. From the Warriors.
From Warriors. Yeah. So he comes up and he kind of saves the day, even though he's very much like a Luke Skywalker character at this point.
Yeah.
He's kind of
just heart of gold.
Yeah, heart of gold, but a blue collar kid, doesn't have a lot of money.
Works in the old mines, works the mine gambit. Yeah.
Yep. just
For
spent his
2
last
seconds, I
Keshels on a
honestly
mining
thought
droid.
that it
Yeah.
was Luke Skywalker.
I mean,
like,
it pretty much is.
What the fuck?
To the point with like he's got an uncle that he lives with.
Right.
You never hear
Yep.
any mention of his parents, as far as I know.
Yeah.
He's basically just like a young kid on a desert planet who buy these droids, and he actually saves them. So he trades his brand new mining droid that he spent his last Keshel on, his
Right.
uncle's last Keshel, trades him to Mr. One Nostril for these 3 dilapidated, broken down droids. Because he's got a heart of gold, and that's the nice thing to do. So that's what he does, and he takes
Yeah.
him home. And that's when we meet Uncle Yosemite Sam.
At the old, yeah, exactly.
Suffering satellites.
At the old moisture evaporator.
Yeah, right?
So instead of a moisture farm, like Owen and Baru have, this guy's basically got rights to a mine.
Did they ever clarify what they're mining and what they're?
No, because he didn't even know that he had this super volatile but super worthwhile. Or
Well, he
this
mentions
super
at the
expensive
end
stuff.
that they found like a
He found
Keshel
it
vein.
after the cave in though.
Right.
Yeah.
So he like thanks this guy who we'll get to. He thanks him for like, oh hey, thanks for caving in my mine, and I found a Keshel deposit.
That's
We're like,
right.
oh, all right, thanks for wrapping that up.
How very convenient.
Yes, how very convenient.
Of all the half-baked and schemed ideas, this Uncle Gundy it was my favorite character in this episode.
He is a
He's
I
great
think
because
he's a
just
Star
hops
Wars.
around,
He's a Star Wars
shouting
treasure.
tarnation.
I think.
he's a treasure.
I'm pulling for him in The Force Awakens. I feel like he deserves a cameo.
Oh my god! If he shows up, if Uncle Gundy shows up in The Force Awakens, I will just stand and applaud in the middle of that movie.
Yeah, totally.
No one
It's
else
gonna
would know
be-
what was going on.
It's gonna be me standing up alone in the theater going, "You gotta be fucking kidding me!"
And just hop out.
Yeah, it's like that. It's that guy that you think is Luke Skywalker in that trailer is actually just Uncle Gundy, like with R2-D2.
Yeah, it's just Uncle Gundy.
Yeah,
Oh my
with a robot
Just
hand.
passing him down.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So we're not
I
even
will
at like the main
lose my
crux
mind.
of the story yet. This is the craziest thing.
Yes.
There's so many things going on. So you've got R2 and 3PO who are now in the ownership of Uncle Gundy and his nephew John
Jan.
or Swan or Juan, Jan, whatever his name is.
Jan Tosh, I'll have you know.
Jan Tash.
So
Basically
Daniel,
Luke's
so
kid.
Daniel Tosh,
Yeah,
and,
exactly. Dan Tosh and
the rest of the guys. So the big reveal happens now, where you find out that this beat down. It was a cyborg, right?
Well, so you've got this kind of cyborg crow looking weird scarecrow kind of
Right.
thing.
right, yeah.
And
So
yeah, R2 does some kind of scan, and he's like, "Oh, hey, by the way, this guy's not a droid. It's like a
Nah.
full organism. Like it's a biological organism.
Right.
So, you got duped. Sorry, Uncle Gundy. You just flushed all your Keshels down the moisture farm.
we should mention on the way out of the slave auction.
Yeah.
They what was it?
One nostril.
One Nostril and Immort Joe
Yeah.
realize.
Oh,
or
that's right. I forgot that.
Krang's body
the big
realize
escape.
that there might be a little bit. That's the first glimpse where you have there
Yes.
might be a little bit more to this third droid than meets the eye.
Yeah,
And
remember
so
that
Sure,
bounty that
there's a little bit of a
Pleb was
chase
after?
scene, and there's this. You realize that Krang's body is like that guy is the person that I need to get for these was it like
40,000
40,000
Keshels.
Keshels?
I keep wanting to say shekels.
Which, by the way, that guy,
Shekels.
that Kleb guy has some serious insight if he's able to pin that android and be like, "That's the guy we're looking for."
That's the one.
Right,
Yes,
yeah,
I've
right.
seen how he
it's
gets
like that guy
hauled
has
off
that
into
guy has the
desert.
exact description minus everything about him.
Exactly.
Looking for.
I know the way he shambles.
Yeah, exactly.
When he's being led away into slavery.
Yeah.
It's-
Look,
it's
he
a
loves
tough
to
tell.
dress up like droids.
My
when
employer
he gets
mentioned
his
that guy
mind
might
erased.
be like going around as an android.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
right.
the one. I do like their little chase scene though, because they drive kind of a cool little unicycle thing
Yeah,
away. That
which
was
looks
pretty cool.
which
That was
looks
a
a
neat
lot
little
like
sequence.
it looks a lot like the thing Grievous drives in
Yes,
Revenge of the
exactly like
Sith,
that.
right?
Exactly. like
Again,
that.
another
Yeah.
one of those weird prequel nods. I feel.
Yeah, I think Lucas was just kind of like, I want like a speeder, like a car, but just like inside a giant wheel.
Yeah,
And
and
like,
they're-
all right,
yeah.
we got it. Here it is.
They're like, check out
Yeah.
droids, dude. They have that.
Yeah, check out droids. We
Dude,
got it.
we did that
did it
already.
first.
You're in luck.
Guys, I did that back in '85.
Yeah, you guys are in
Why
luck.
Are we, what are we doing workshopping this shit?
Yeah.
I've already created this.
We've got the
universe.
designs
Already
right
got
here. They're in the archives. They're in the Lucasfilm archives as we speak.
Okay, so lo and behold, this creepy scarecrow droid thing is actually a bounty that Kleb is after, and he is revealed more or less when he saves Uncle Gundy from a cave-in. Now, this
Right.
guy doesn't speak yet, so we don't know what his name is. So John and Gundy and 3PO and R2-D2 decide to give him a name. Do you guys remember his name?
Well, hold on.
Did I miss
hold
a
on. Just like, real quick. Swan, when you mentioned the point where he's not talking. So Swan suddenly asks, he goes, he's not talking. What should we call him? And do you remember what C-3PO's line is that he has for him at that point?
I'd call him hungry.
Oh my god.
The best line in the episode, I think.
I almost threw myself across the room.
I'd call him hungry. Meanwhile, he's just like cramming down a bowl of chowder.
Oh my god, he is like nomming on whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah.
That soup.
I mean, 3PO wasn't lying.
Chowder,
was,
yeah. No, he's very hungry.
Green chowder.
Yeah.
So at this point, Gundy gives him a name, right?
Yes.
Right.
After he's saved in the cave-in, which is very
so
fortuitous.
I wanted to ask about the cave-in.
Yeah.
So you hear all of a sudden like Swan and C-3PO are outside, and all of a sudden there's kind of like a commotion in where they are mining, and Swan is like, oh shit, cave-in. So they all run inside, and
that's what you do when there's a cave-in.
Yeah, right. You go directly into the chaos.
Zone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Max, I don't know about you, but Dave and I are both from Pennsylvania, where there are mines, and we're both like, you just stay the hell away.
Yeah.
Like you go to a bar. That's it.
No.
Everybody gets the day off.
No, I'm from Oklahoma, so tornadoes were our thing. Was the old tornado alley, which there were no tornadoes in this episode, unfortunately. Otherwise, I could offer my expertise.
If you got the tornado, the air siren, like you wouldn't run into it, is what you're saying.
Basically, yeah, it's same principle.
Okay, yeah.
Same principle. You
make sure we're on the same.
Yeah,
page.
don't go into the chaos.
Okay, got it.
And so in this instance, they run directly into the chaos.
Right.
And here's the thing that blows my mind is that Swan, if you notice, he pulls out another support beam from the side of the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
And runs over.
Here's the problem.
I'm not a cave expert here. But I know integrity of a building, and you, sir, you're removing a course like you're removing a necessity from
that's a load-bearing beam.
From the entrance, no less. Like the actual, like your way out. It's like, oh, here's this support beam that's actually holding this whole thing afloat. Let's remove that. and
I actually slapped my desk at that moment and said, "They're all dead."
Yeah, in a surprising twist, that's where the episode ends. They all die.
Luckily, C-3PO got away because he's a coward and he waits outside like a smart, any smart individual.
Like a smart protocol droid should.
Exactly.
Yeah. So at this point, the nameless hero steps in and he kind of saves the day because apparently he's got some like brute strength that he can hold up a collapsing mine.
Exactly.
So he holds up the beam and he rescues these guys. So at this point, he gets a name, and the name, you guys remember it?
Keziban. Keziban.
Kez-Iban, yeah, it's like
which
two names.
Which means something. Like Uncle Gundy said it, and it means something in another language.
Right. It's like it's an old, I'm gonna say Pashtun.
I'm sure
it's like
there's
an old Pashtun word for hero or something.
I'm sure there's a hyphen somewhere in that name.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a smacking them.
As is Star Wars tradition.
Yeah. So basically, now he's the hero. He gets a name that more or less means like hero or lifesaver or like life bringer or whatever.
Sure.
And then he's immediately captured again by the bad guys. So, they're holding him up as his hero, and then he's gone.
Yeah.
So our guys have to go off and find him, and they do this by starting a bar fight, basically, at the diner, which is kind of my favorite.
Which, by the way, Max Rebo Band is there. They're seemingly on tour. They're off Tatooine, and they are
singer.
They're playing there at whatever this planet is, and
having
a good old time doing their thing.
Yeah, you always need a band for a bar fight. Though.
Always, yeah.
It's just kind of standard.
There's only two bands in the entire Star Wars universe, and that is the Max Rebo Band, and that is the the Biff Band.
Cantina
band?
The
Cantina Band, exactly.
Yeah.
They're the only two guys in the whole thing.
That's it, man. They got it locked down.
Exactly.
So they got to play at Dunix Cafe or whatever the hell it is.
Mm-hmm.
Max, that moment where suddenly the Rebo Band like shows up, that was worth watching this episode alone, just seeing that, because I got so excited and happy at, like, I can't describe to you the joy. I was like, that's the Max Rebo Band.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That's your like totem. You're like, oh yeah, this is the Star Wars universe. I almost forgot.
His touchstone to bring him back to the universe.
Exactly.
Oh, it was so good.
It was.
Yeah. So at this point, they start a bar fight, and I love the way that they do it. R2-D2 starts off by shooting just a random patron of the diner who's just sitting there enjoying his green chowder.
Right.
He just whacks him with his fire extinguisher, just blasts this guy right in the side.
Old Two Nostril.
And that starts, yeah, totally
Mr. Two Nostril.
I like that we described everybody by the number of nostrils.
Oh, we had
It's
one.
a
now we
common
have two.
occurrence.
They were very far apart. I would note.
Mr. Wide Nostril.
Yeah, Mr. Wide. Yeah, Wide Nostrils. That's better.
Now you're
So
just
somebody calls
grasping
him
at
Wide
nostrils.
Nostril. He gets in a fight, and then it's basically like a brawl breaks out.
Right.
And at this point, we're introduced to a random woman who saves these idiots from being torn apart by Yorpa. And this is Jessica Mead. And she basically just like saves her life.
Yeah.
And he's like, thanks. He's like, I'm Jessica Mead. Okay, see you later. And then that's it. That's the only interaction.
It's like Jan's like, thanks again. Bye.
Yeah, thanks again. Bye.
Yeah.
See you in the
I
next
actually had
episode.
to back this episode up to watch that because I missed it the first time. It happens in a blink.
Yeah.
Well, I love that
She's
has
like-
a joy
she's
buzzer.
like-
she has like an old practical joke buzzer on her hand, but that's
Right.
like, souped up and can knock people out.
She's like a stunner. Never leave home without it. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
I won't.
Okay, thanks, stranger.
Yeah, I will not.
No, I will not from now on. And then
Words
she
to
just like
live
sits
by.
down and has a drink while these other idiots go running off.
Yeah.
So that's it. So Max, real quick, we're getting a little short. So you said that she does show up in the next episode, though. Do you remember anything about her from that?
Sorry, what?
Jessica Mead shows up in the next episode of the series. Do you remember? her
Yeah,
character?
yeah. Like I think she has her own ship, and I remember it's like her, like Jan Tosh, and like the droids, and I think like I think like Manjulpa or whatever Keziban is there, and like they like ward off. We it's like that might be for another episode, but there's like the IG-88 shows up, and that's kind
cool.
of the whole yeah.
Awesome. So there you go, listeners.
So she
There's
does
an
come back. It
incentive
wasn't just
to-
like some random encounter that's never followed up on again.
Yeah, that would make zero sense. I assumed she would show up again in the rest of the series, but I just didn't know if it was one of those random things or not. So I'm glad to know that she did. But,
Yeah.
now we're kind of getting to a point where there's actually two things that are going on. So we've got Kleb and his kind of hooligans. They now reveal another part of their plan, and it's basically they find out that there is something called Nurgon 14 in this mine. And Nurgon 14, do you guys know what this is used for in the Star Wars universe? I kind of had to look this up
It's
a
the
little
most unstable raw element in the universe.
bit.
Yeah.
Super worthwhile.
They said
Max,
something.
you know what it's used for?
They said something about Empire proton torpedoes.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this is used in the proton torpedoes,
know my
which plays
droids.
kind of a big role in Star Wars.
Sort of, yeah, probably.
Sort of a big role. Yeah, so that's interesting that they have that kind of that lore. That's
Right,
in there.
yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And that's
At
probably
the same,
seemingly
yeah.
like that's what the planet's for, is just like that planet has like that mineral, and that's what this whole planet is about.
yeah. So essentially, since this stuff is so unstable that if it's activated, the entire planet could more or less
Yeah,
just go
exactly.
up in a puff of smoke. At the same time, we are learning that this Kez Iban character is actually someone else completely. He's not just like a lost wandering soul. His real name is Manjulpa, which took me a very long time to figure out. His name is Manjulpa, and he is Prince of Tamuzan. Yeah, Prince of Tamuzan.
Yeah.
We don't know where Tamuzan is.
I'm surprised you
He's
pulled out
Tamuzanian.
Tamuzan. I actually didn't even remember that at all.
Yeah.
Because this little purple guy who originally put the bounty out on him because he was trying to bring him back home safely. He's actually a good guy. He was trying to reconnect with his prince, this royal prince named Manjulpa, and he hands him back this scepter, like a royal scepter that kind of restores his memory, and we get this short little explanation like, oh, I was a prince and the royal vizier of the Tamuzan wiped my memory out because he wanted to take my place. Hey, nice to meet you. It's just like a random ass explanation of that. So it was a little strange.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much what we get. So now the stage is kind of set for this final kind of rundown, right?
Right. And
It's pretty much
can we also draw attention to the fact that scepter is like kind of fucking awesome? Like,
Yeah.
it's like
this
thing
weird
this
'cause
thing
it was
has like
half
property
magical and half technology. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, hey, let's fuck lightsabers. Can we get like a bunch of these things that like you spin it around and it has like suddenly like these super magical awesome properties?
Yeah, I like that it seemed like it was still electricity based though. So it seemed like it had some sort of
Sure.
technology basis to it, but they saw it as a magical scepter or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool. However, that being said, these aliens, these Tamuzanians, Tasmanians, are pretty damn clumsy. The fact that they just kind of trip over each other.
Dave,
Yeah, what do you got?
the note that I wrote down.
Yeah, I knew you would have
for
seen that.
this group. this is the dopiest group of aliens I've ever seen in my life.
It's like the Keystone Cops of Star Wars aliens. They're like the Three Stooges. They're just like they're from the planet Slapstick.
Yeah.
It's like they trip over each other, they bump into things, but then they somehow like kind of heroically save the day, even though it's pretty much R2-D2 that of course saves the day.
Yeah, exactly.
They saved the day through blind luck. Let's say what it is.
Blind luck.
There's no reason that any of them should have survived this instance.
No, they had
they
a
actually
high
pretty much
midichlorian
failed,
count.
too.
I think the
Yes,
bunch of
high
them.
midichlorian. Yeah. They actually pretty much like. I wonder if there was ever a Tamuzanian that was a Jedi. I'm curious now. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I actually don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah,
But yeah, they
I don't
actually
know.
don't really
arcane
save the
like
day.
Jedi-like abilities with these guys. Something magical.
Yeah, something similar, some sort of like royal order or something like that. But
Yeah.
So basically, the long story short here for this one is that Kleb is trying to get a hold of the bounty. He now wants to get hold of this Nergon 14 stuff. And R2 and C-3PO, they warn him like, hey, we've got some like volatile gases building up in this mine. If you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to trigger everything and you're going to blow the whole planet up. And he's basically like, nah, don't care. Doesn't really matter. So they don't actually prevent that from happening. Everything gets activated and then they just fly away.
That's so true. It's like they actually don't stop anything. It totally just happens.
They rescue some people. C-3PO's leg gets frozen in a awkward position.
Yeah.
And then they fly away. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah. It's like...
And
Go ahead.
the big thing at the end is that Gundy finds a Keshal deposit in his mine because of the cave-in. So him and Jan are like super rich now.
Right.
So C-3PO, he comes out all shiny and gold and sparkling, and R2-D2's all cleaned up. And like, hey, we found ourselves some wealthy masters. So isn't everything great? I'm like, didn't that whole fucking like mine just blow up? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So I don't know if they ever come back to that or not.
Yeah,
but
it's like it's
kind of a weird.
No, yeah, I think they go off planet in the next episode, so I think that's that. According to that
that's
show,
that, man. That place is just a powder keg ready to go.
Yeah, I also
this episode. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I also want to note like how rad it is that guy who was like who hired that bounty hunter to like save Manjulpa like had the forethought to bring him like his princely clothing at the end.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna need this.
Yeah,
he's all
like,
the garb necessary to make him look extremely
it's like at
regal.
In that final scene, it's like, oh, dude, you were just decked the fuck out in your like in your royal garbs right now. I was not foreseeing that.
No, I love that. That was great. He's got his scepter. He's got his purple skin.
Yeah.
He's got his robes.
Yeah, and he's
all
like,
good.
"Thank you for your help," and he's like suddenly like super royal looking. It's like, oh, all right on.
Yeah, totally.
This,
I love
this episode.
John's expression when he was like saying goodbye to him. He was like, "Your Majesty," and he kind of looked like somebody from like Bill and Ted or something. Like he just had this stoned expression on his face, like, "Bah."
Yeah, like I don't know what to call you, and then he's like, "Please, Kezivan," and it's like, really, you're gonna like still stick with Kezivan after like
you go with that made up name that we
yeah,
did? Okay.
well,
10 minutes ago, sure.
Yeah, okay, okay.
All right, Keziban. I loved the ending, like the very last moment of this. Do you guys remember the final thing that they kind of like closed out on?
With the two with C-3PO and Gundy both simultaneously hopping on their feet.
Yes, the sight
just like
gag
the
and like
most
everybody laughing.
yeah, the most righteous like visual callback of all time.
Oh my god! Meanwhile, half the planet just blew up, and these two idiots are hopping around. In the world.
Well, they have the most cringeworthy line to close this whole thing out. And
Close it out for us, Sean.
Thank you, R2. Much better. And then everybody just laughs.
Everybody laughs.
I breathed a deep sigh of relief when everybody laughed. So I was like, "There's no other way that they could end this.
No.
This must actually be the end of it. It has to be."
It's ridiculous.
There's the way that they ended it, and then there's the way that I wanted them to end it, and I never get how I want these things to end.
Well, since we're ending,
actually, can I hear your alternate ending for what you wanted from this episode?
Yeah.
It's just the Nergon just blows up the entire planet. Nergon
just ends the series in episode 5.
But magically, it just so happens that C-3PO and R2-D2 are just blown into orbit,
of course,
and picked up by like
They're
some
totally
by Jessica Mead in her ship right outside of orbit.
There you go. She's just like a scavenger in orbit. Yeah.
She just grabs them and she's like, "Guys, next adventure." And they're like, "We love capers."
They're like, "You're our master now." Just so you know, you can boss us around all you want.
Yeah.
C-3PO is all like, "Curse my metal body." And you're like, "Oh my god."
Here we go again.
Every
boy.
fucking time with him.
So anything else from you guys for this episode?
No, I think we watched enough of the Eeyores of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Poor
So,
Anthony Daniels.
by the way,
what you got?
before I forget, I did want to. This isn't pertain to this episode, but I thought this was really interesting because before this podcast, I was looking at the IMDb for Droids, and I noticed that one of the episodes is actually called "The Revenge of Kybo Ren."
Oh, that's interesting.
Kyboren, which I thought was
really
like,
interesting.
yeah, I was like, there is no way that that's just pure coincidence, right?
Hold on, I'm going to type this up really fast so I can beat Max to the story.
No.
Oh yeah,
Take that.
wow.
But I thought that was like really. I'm like, there's no way because. So I guess for those of you that don't know, it's like Kylo Ren with an L is like this Sith-like character that's going to be in Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and I just thought that was super interesting. I'm like, what are the odds that like a name is so and it's not even like he's a Sith or anything. I think he's some sort of pirate. But I read the synopsis and it was like Kybo Ren, and it's like, what? Seriously?
Wait, what?
In Droids?
That's crazy. Yeah, we'll have to look into that.
Yeah,
That's nuts.
episode 8. Wow,
Cool.
this is interesting. Oddly enough, Mon Julpa is still in that episode. He's in
Oh,
like
how
the
about that?
next
So he's still
3
hanging
episodes.
around.
He's
Tamuzani and Prince.
fucking
He's a
get rid
recurring
of this
player.
guy.
Yeah, he's definitely in the next episode, I remember. But I think he's like actually
Nice.
at his post, like being kingly or
Okay.
princely rather.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So on that note, would you guys actually recommend the rest of this series to our listeners out there and to just yourself? So Max, since you brought this one to our attention, what do you think? Do you recommend this to people?
I would recommend it if you are just a diehard Star Wars fan that's like kind of waiting to pass the time before The Force Awakens. You've already finished the Clone Wars. Watch the Clone Wars first. That show is like
wonderful.
That show is a revelation. So I would watch that first. But if you watched all that stuff, you're watching Rebels, then I'd say give Droids a shot, just because there's enough weird, just kind of like it's so deliciously 80s that I think it's and if you love Star Wars, it's like this is actually just kind of amazing that this even existed ever.
Definitely. Sean, what about you?
With a very heavy heart.
Heavy
I
heart.
say, check this out.
Okay.
No, I mean I concur with everything that Max says. I think you need to check this out because it's a piece of the Star Wars universe, and it will always hold Star Wars universe will always hold a special place in my heart. And I think just checking this out is interesting. And it's only 13 episodes. It's not like you're killing a lot of time. And as we've mentioned several times in this, if there is in any way some parallel or some kind of like tip of the cap to some of the things that we could potentially come to find out or expect in these upcoming movies, I'll spend the time to check it out. I'll spend the time to do a little bit of research.
Yeah.
And they're all on YouTube for free, so don't pay for this. Look, chances are you're probably listening to us while you're at work and you're trying to kill time before it's 5 o'clock and you can get the hell out of there anyway. When you're done with this, just jump over to YouTube and search Star Wars Droids. Kill an hour, kill 2 hours. This will be great fun.
Yeah, that'll be good times. That's going to be 3 for 3 because I'm going to say the same thing. Max made some really good points. Sean did as well. They basically said it all, so you got nothing left from me. Just check this one out. And who knows, you might find some more Easter eggs and goodies that are hidden in there before the new movie comes out in theaters. Now, because that is coming out later on this year, I'm going to ask you guys real quick, do you think that this show is maybe in need of a reboot? Maybe we need to bring Star Wars Droids back to an animated series? Real quick, yay or nay. Max, what do you think? Just want to get another shot?
I would say nay just because they kind of already did that with... There are like those few arcs in Clone Wars that are like, oh, here's the droids again. And it's just kind of... It's like, I feel like you kind of get them in the movies and like they're even in Star Wars Rebels a couple episodes.
Right.
It's like, I think you're getting plenty of droids without needing like a whole full-on like reboot of this particular time period with them.
Now, how about this, though? How about BB-8 and maybe some of the other new droids that are coming out?
Oh, my God. Dude, BB-8 is my spirit animal already, I can tell.
We haven't even seen more
I
haven't
even watched that movie. That little droid gets a show. Like the Adventures on Jakku, I would watch that show.
Okay, so you'd watch The Adventures of BB-8 on Jakku. Okay.
Yeah.
Sean, what about you? Either old or new reboot for these guys? Either old droids or new droids. Old priest and a new priest.
Oof.
What do you think?
Sorry?
Oh, no, that one was for Sean.
Oh, okay.
Is he still there with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Do you
Sorry.
think the droids, either the old droids get a cartoon reboot or the new droids get a new shot at their own animated series? What do you think?
No, I apologize. I was deep in thought on this one. I
Oh,
actually
I
think
see.
the new droids. I think the new droids deserve a chance to kind of grow, in their own right. So I would be curious to see what they would do with the new droids. So I think we can close the book on old droids. I'd be curious to see what new droids has to offer.
Good answer.
That's 3 for 3. We got a new
Dave,
generation.
what are you thinking?
Some
What's
screen
kicking
time
around
there,
in
so-
that metal body?
Yeah.
of yours?
Cursed metal body.
Yeah, so pretty much thinking the same thing. So,
Okay.
I say we give the new guides a chance here.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Maybe we'll all be producers on that one.
Love it.
Yes.
All right, so it's that time of the show where we're going to turn it over to our very special guest, and he is going to let us know where you can contact him and where you can find out what he is up to in the wide, wide world. So, Max, take it away. What are you up to these days?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm kicking it around at IGN.com and MTV News, and I frequently talk about Star Wars because Star Wars is awesome. And you can find me at Twitter. I'm at Max_Nicholson, and maxnicholson.net is my website. And yeah, I think that's all the plugs. Oh, and if you're into cartoons, which
Yeah.
I assume you are if you're listening.
Yes.
I am currently doing flashback reviews of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yes.
Just we're kind of filling in some gaps at the old IGN, and I'm freaking loving that series. That show is awesome. Another show you should check out if you haven't already. And I'm doing reviews of that right now over the summer.
Yeah, very cool, man. I've definitely checked in on a couple of those reviews just to kind of relive the episodes again, because it's been a while since I watched the original one, and then I just caught up with Korra fairly recently. So yeah,
They're both
so I'm glad you're
such great series. Such great series.
Definitely.
Excellent.
We'll have to review that at some day. So yeah, thanks again for being on the show there, Max.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Definitely. Sean, what do you have going on for listeners out there?
Ooh, well, if you are in the Maryland, D.C., Virginia area, September 9th through the 12th, I am producing a comedy festival that's going to be in D.C. It's called District Improv Festival. And so this is going to be 30 different improv teams from all across the country, as well as also Canada. So you can find and purchase tickets at districtimprov.org. And I don't know, every once in a while, you can find me if you go on witdc.org, Washington Improv Theater. I perform at them quite a bit, so you can find me performing around there. And also you can find me on the Instagrams and the Twitters at Sean Paul Ellis.
Awesome. And hey, if correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you actually have a shout out for somebody tonight. So now's probably a good time to do that before I start rambling.
Oh, I do. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Sure.
We actually were contacted by a listener and a friend of mine, Letty, who had mentioned that she had some fantastic insight from listening or after listening to our Godzilla episode. We are going to get a little bit more into that. I haven't figured out whether I want to do it at the end of an episode or if I want to do a little mini episode myself. But it is wonderful insight, and it cracked me up to no end. So thank you, Letty, for reaching out and messaging us, and we will definitely get into that discussion shortly. So thank you.
It was pretty great. It might be the most academic this show has ever gotten. So I do appreciate
Holy
that.
shit, it was
It's quite nice.
fantastic.
As for me, you can find me over at collider.com. We got the fall TV season coming up, so I'll be doing a lot of recaps for that. But in the meantime, we've got a lot of movie news, TV news, entertainment news. So check me out over at collider.com. As for finding out more about Saturday morning cartoons, you can do so at our website, SaturdayMorningCartoons.com. Remember, that's morning with a U. You can also find us on Twitter at MorningTunes. Check out Sean's handiwork over at our Tumblr page, SaturdayMorningCartoons.tumblr.com. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. Each and every week, you can download our podcast through iTunes and Stitcher. And you can always send us an email to give us some suggestions, let us know how we're doing. Just say hi, give us a linguistic rundown of the differences between a Godzilla creature versus a Godzuki creature, whatever you want to do. SaturdayMorningCartoons@gmail.com. That's pretty much it for me. Sean, do you want to give the listeners a rundown, maybe a little sneak peek of what we have coming up? Now we've got our act together a little bit, and we can give them a little hint of what's coming up later on this year.
So I believe next episode we are going to be digging into a superhero, but a superhero who has some interesting quirks.
Yeah, that's a bit of a stretch,
know
but
who-
we'll see how it works out.
That's a little bit of a stretch. I mean,
Max,
you know who I'm talking about.
Max, if you were to wear multicolored socks, that's really all I know this character from, right?
Oh my god.
Multicolored socks and like a weird cloud outfit.
This
And you were in-
is like ringing zero bells. At first,
Such a weird
when
description.
you first started saying quirky, I thought you guys were talking about Freakazoid for a second.
No, we've already covered
Oh,
Freakazoid, unfortunately.
okay.
In his
Well,
onesie.
If we were to say that it was an absurdist spoof on the whole superhero genre, does that help?
Oh,
I
in
don't
any
think
way,
that would
shape,
help
or
in
form?
any way.
That
Are you
was
guys?
Patrick Warburton played.
Oh,
on the live
the
action.
Tick.
Yes, we're gonna
Classic.
talk about
Love
The
that
Tick.
show.
Oh, that is not who I
So
thought
next
we
week
were
we're gonna be
talking about.
digging into The
So
Tick.
I was
Nice.
confused again. I am forever confused on this show. Oh, good. We're talking
Oh,
The Tick.
you were thinking we're talking The Tick, and then after that, Dave is correct. I think we were jumping into Rainbow Bright.
Yeah. So when you started talking about a superhero, I was like, is Rainbow Bright really a superhero? I mean, I guess she kind of could be.
Yeah,
Guys, I
sure
was
enough.
confused. It happens a lot. So we've got Tick and Rainbow Bright to look forward to, and that should take us into September. And then we'll start getting into some theme months. We'll tease you guys about that in a little bit. So yeah, listeners, should be a couple great shows. We got Tick and Rainbow Bright coming out before we roll into the fall of this year. So that should be a good time. Just wanted to say thanks to Max again. Thank you so much for coming out and spending your time with us. It was great to have you on. Hopefully we can have you on again in the future. And to our listeners out there, thank you very much for listening. We will see you next time on Saturday Morning Cartoons. Bye.